Rev TV brings the world of motorsports into your home with over 100 live race series such as MotoGP, IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, Extreme E, World Superbike, and the newly launched all-electric E1 series. From 2 wheels to 4, from land to sea, your destination is Rev TV.
At Pinnacle Wraps, we proudly offer top-tier liveries that showcase your unique style on the racetrack. Elevate your iRacing experience today with a stunning custom design that truly represents who you are and your passion for racing.
A big weekend of racing on Green Flag TV ahead of us, with endurance racing all the way home to the 8th annual running of the Paper Cycling Systems Indy 500. But before we get to that, it's preliminary night here for the ZTRL Racing League as they have their trip around the Brickyard. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ZTRL Racing League and to Green Flag TV. My name is Ola Rempel alongside Lucas Moody, bringing you all of racing action from start to finish here on this fantastic Friday night. Lucas, we kick off our weekend strong with a trip around the Brickyard. It is the third crown jewel race for the ZTRL Racing League Cup Series this season, and this one is set to be a big night as we tackle one of motorsport's oldest facilities.
Here we are in the southwest side of Indianapolis, here at one of the greatest racing venues on the globe, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 80 laps around here today. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic race. And of course, being in those next-gen Cup cars, it's going to be a good all-brawl here tonight. And on the screen now, you can look at the future schedule for the ZTRL series.
Of course, tonight, stages sitting at 20 and 45 laps apiece, and then straight through 80 laps of racing here today. Then it is Kansas and Bristol, and then one of the longest races of the season, the Charlotte Motor Speedway, a 300-mile marathon, gearing up just shy of the end of the year, with Watkins Glen International playing host of the last race of the 2025 calendar year before the season continues, with cutoff day for the regular series season at Talladega Superspeedway when we return in 2026. So lots of fun races all coming up here, and each one providing just as much of a unique challenge as the one that came before it.
Yeah, and of course, with the playoffs, or sorry, not with the playoffs, with the regular season ending at Talladega and the playoffs starting at Iowa, there were only 6 more races left for these drivers to get themselves locked into that top 16 to advance on to the playoff round. Here is what that playoff standings currently looks like. Your 6 drivers who have locked themselves in is Tester, Murphy, Smith, Ivy, Stewart, and Wright. And just behind them are 10 more drivers fighting for the points, trying to make their way in the 17th through 20th position. Those are your 4 guys on the outside looking in and seeing if they can break their way into the top 16 here tonight at Indy.
Only 2 points separating CUNY Kimber from Samuel Longworth. Thaddeus Friel Jr. right now only 8 points to the good as well. Longworth sitting 4 out, Douglas Ivy sitting 6 out, so still plenty of opportunities for that final transfer spot into flip-flop around. Jason Steptoe and Brian Matthews, a bit of a buffer zone up the road. And right now, Daniel Molinari has quite a bit of work ahead of him as well if he wants to race his way into playoff contention here by the end of the season.
Yeah, and don't forget, if any of the drivers shown here or any of the drivers not shown here, 30th on back, 35th position, no matter where they are in the standings, if you win a race, you lock yourself in and don't have to worry about the points at all until the playoffs begin. So, of course, making it into the cut line on points is good, but what you want is that race win at the end of the day. And there, now we can look at the track conditions for today. And at a 107 degrees Fahrenheit track, it is a hot day out there. It's going to be slidey, and these drivers are going to experience a little bit of lack of grip out there.
Oh, I would imagine a massive lack of grip out there, and that could be a significant problem for drivers all the way throughout the course of the afternoon, right? And of course, 10 miles an hour of winds blowing off towards the west, going to no doubt throw up some haymakers of their own right here before this race is done. And all of that will take us straight through to the end of qualifying. And it's time to figure out who's going to start where, as racing action is set to kick off in earnest here this afternoon. With a good, solid field, well over 30 cars gridded on up and ready to rumble here from the Brickyard. Start of pole position then, it is Jamie Lee Dunn of the Keystone Racing Group Driver Contenders starting number 1. He is alongside TJ Ivy for Ivy Racing Incorporated here on the front row of Indianapolis this afternoon. Row 2 on the grid is going to be Evan Stewart, last week's winner for HB Racing, coming off of a thriller at Richmond. He is going to go up against the driver that has not won since the season opener here in this one, Robert Tester, back in 4th. Row 3 on the grid, Joshua Siegfried, still seeking race number 1. He had a rough out, and like so many drivers at Richmond, he comes in here 5th alongside Stephen Blevins back in 6th. Row 4 on the grid is Jonathan Dominus, got put through the ringer last week. He is starting 7th alongside a Car King Wright in 8th, and rounding out the top 10 is Dave Chivoli in the Pennzoil 85 alongside the Grippos number 5 of Terrence Murphy.
And then starting tonight's race in 11th is going to be that 14 machine of Jamin Bernhardt alongside the 87 of Blake Hewlett. And then in spot number 13, it's Ron Malam. And in 14th, it's going to be Ted Gambo. Then rounding out in 15th position, it's that 4 machine of Eric Morton alongside the 82 machine of Daniel Molinari. 16 points from the good. Let's see if we can get in today for the playoff positions. And in 17th is going to be Austin Guerrero alongside Daniel Emilio Mariquin, I believe is how you pronounce that. And to wrap off that top 20, it's going to be Adam Hogland alongside Douglas Ivy.
21st place on the grid, it's Justin Day for the all-day number 69. He runs alongside Thaddeus Friel Jr. 23rd and 24th, it's Frank Chavez and Chris Gaxel. 25th and 26th, Wayne Graves and Ethan Farless on row 13. Row 14 will be holding Jason Steptoe and Keenan Kimber. And then rounding out the top 30, it's Aaron Longworth and Chris Mackey, with the back of the field headed on up by Matthews, Smith, and Longworth to close things out here this afternoon. So the field rolling out here from the front straightaway of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And honestly, Lucas, the driver going to be keeping close eyes on here, going to be this number 13 of Daniel Emilio Mariquin. Was the first driver out of racing contention when we came out here just 1 week, not 1 week ago, sorry, 1 week ago at Richmond, right? He got black flagged early on and, well, was forced to watch the rest of the race with the sideline because if he had to serve said black flag. So this one, it couldn't end up being a bit of a hot spot for him.
Yeah, but starting up here in the top 10, it's going to be the comeback race for him. You know, can he bring it back, pull himself out of the weeds? And he put himself in a really good qualifying position. This is where he needs to be. This is where he wants to be fighting. I believe he can qualify just outside the top 10. So his goal for this race is going to be able to see if he can crack that top 10 and really get some good points here today. And I want to go back to that 9-mile-an-hour wind that we talked about earlier. You mentioned it's blowing to the west. That means these drivers are going to have to be very, very careful out of turn 4, as it not only will be pushing their car wide towards the wall, but it'll also be pushing their car loose as well. So watch out for mistakes on the exit of turn 4.
Of course, you've also got the pace car coming around for one more lap, right? So these drivers are going to have 1 lap less fuel than normal. Now, let's talk stages, because those stages are going to be critical here this afternoon, as they so often are. First stage break at the end of lap 20. Second stage break at the end of lap 45. So all of this is going to lead to quite a mad scramble here in the opening few laps.
Yeah, with only 20 laps for these drivers to prove their worth, to get a spot in the top 10, to get themselves some stage points, not a lot of time. And yeah, you said it perfectly. They're going to get scrappy. They're going to be fighting aggressive right off the bat of this race. The fact this league has stages means that it is not your final finishing position that is what only gets you points. That's not the only thing that matters here. Where you are incrementally throughout the race matters a lot as well, because 10 points for a stage win is not a small amount at all. So it is something you have to think about. It is something you have to focus on. And yeah, I mean, once again, you said it perfectly. These drivers, they're going to be fighting for it even early on in this race.
So we come around through turn numbers 1 and 2 for what will be the final time before we go green here, and quite a few drivers with black flags to kick this one off. Ethan Farless is going to have to come down pit road early on. A tough break for Farless. Same story with Jason Steptoe and a number of drivers as well with EOL penalties here in this one. And Lucas, this is all coming off of what was nothing short of an absolute demo derby last week at the action track. So I'm sure that quite a few of these drivers are going to be looking to get some redemption going for themselves here this afternoon, because it's got to feel tough having to start your race from this far back in the field, so far on the back foot. And I mean, you take a look at all the drivers, right, that are back towards the field in that single file line. It's not a small number.
Yeah, the action track absolutely delivered last week. Richmond was full of chaos, full of good racing, full of close battles, but because there were a lot of spins, a lot of wrecks, a decent amount of drivers unfortunately got penalized for that, and they'll have to be serving those penalties here at the Brickyard tonight. But no more about Richmond, because we are in the motorsport city of the world. We're in Indianapolis for a 200-mile race. It's all about to kick off right now.
Pace car going to make its left-hand turn into pit road. We're happy you joined us for racing action here on this fantastic Friday night as Jamie Lee Dunning works into the restart zone. Time to get the party started. It's go, go, go from the Brickyard. Well, they worked their way down the back straightaway. You saw already Samuel Longworth catching the outside wall before they even got to the start-finish line on that opening lap. Right now, as they single file out up front, Jamie Lee Dunning starting to pull away here, but Evan Stewart chasing him up the racetrack in turn 3.
Yeah, Douglas Ivey also sitting there in third. He's waiting to see if a battle, starts encapsulating between first and second place here. He's right there. If somebody goes from, we already have cars spinning. Those cars are inside of each other, Nolan.
And that is Ted Gamble getting caught up with Daniel Molinari. Heads up as Molinari slides across the racetrack and tanks the inside wall. No caution. Now the caution comes out. And the green flag is going to be brought to a swift halt. Now, critically, Steptoe and Farless both in pit road already to try and serve their black flags. Are they going to have those cleared now? Or are they going to have to come around and do those black flags all over again? But a tough break early on as we already slow it down for the first time tonight.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point there. iRacing won't clear a drive-through or stop-and-go penalty if any part of it happens under caution. So I don't know if the stewards are going to be willing enough to clear those for them, but iRacing will not be doing that. There is a look at the crash. Let's see how this all started here at the exit of 4.
Yeah, this happens kind of at the back end here as the field gets set to try and make their run through. You're going to watch Molinari on the inside of that Martini Ford Mustang. He's going to push up right into the path of Ted Gamble. And Gamble actually looked like he got a little bit loose coming out of turn 4 and just hooks that 82 car hard into the outside wall.
I mean, I mentioned it a little bit before the race started, but the wind at the exit of 4 is really going to catch people out. It's going to be blowing your car wide, blowing your rear end loose. And as you saw right there, it caught that driver out just a little bit, knocked him the tiniest bit loose. And that was enough to hit Molinari and put both of them in a wall, effectively ruining both of their races. Because remember, they do not have fast repairs in this league. And let me tell you, that Martini car, I mean, that has to go back to the hauler.
Tough break right on board with Ted Gamble here. And what he saw, Yeah, you heard the wheels spinning, just lost traction at a 4 on cold tires, and that was all she wrote. Tell you what, Fields did a good job on managing to duck clear of Molinari as he slid back across the road, but yellow flag number 1 early on just the first lap of this race, and well, already, Lucas, I'm starting to draw comparisons to last Saturday's Super Speedway Blitz we had here for the SRA championship as well.
Yeah, that was definitely a race with a lot of cautions, and I'm hoping that we don't see something as chaotic as that, because I do love green flag stints. I love good battling, and I love what these drivers are able to do when they get the ability to race each other, when they get the chance to race each other, I should say, as Jamie Lee Dunning is coming down Pear Road.
So coming down pit road then here, and this implies fuel strategy probably going to be a factor here in this opening stage, or potentially drivers trying to set themselves up for a strategy going into stage 2 already. It is a split decision. Not everyone coming down pit road. About half the field, if I had to guess, because you're going to have the top 15 or so, top 14 all staying out.
Yeah, what this means is that I believe they're just barely short of making it 20 laps on this lowered fuel regulations that we have in the Zero Torque Racing League. So they can probably make it 16 or 17 laps is my guess if they're pitting on lap 4 for fuel. So I guess that was a strategy coming into this race. If there is a caution early on in the race, top up on fuel, make sure you can make it to the end of stage 1. We'll take one more look at the incident, and yeah, you can see just a little bit of looseness.
Boy, that is a hard hit that Molinari took into the outside wall as well, right into the concrete as well. That absolutely destroyed the right front of the Martini Mustang, who now finds himself down and out early on for, keep in mind, the second week in a row, because Molinari had a pretty bad outing at Richmond as well.
Yeah, I don't remember too much because my memory is, not one of the best things about me, but back-to-back races of getting out early on, not able to finish. Not only does it suck for the point standings, but it also really hurts your morale as well. It's hard to get yourself out of a dump like that, especially when there are accidents that aren't your fault, and there's really not a lot you can do about that. So we're just going to hope that Molinari doesn't fall into a slump and hope he can pick himself back up, and next time we're out, I believe next time we're out is Kansas next week. Maybe he can, find some ground, not redeem himself, but find some ground, and really get his schedule, or get his season, I should say, back on track.
So the field going to get set to go at it all over again, as we are going to line them up double file. And round 2 here for the Zero Torque Racing League, going to be just around the corner. We'll try to see if maybe this time we'll get a lap in.
Yeah, that's the goal. I think these drivers, they've probably figured out what not to do on the opening lap, figured out how to drive with cold tires. So I think we should get a better restart here than last time. And also, for whatever reason, the start of the race just makes people drive much more aggressive than, say, a restart on lap 5 or lap 6. So I do think that we can get some good running here. I think we got the jitters out of the way. We can settle down and get some good 15 laps here to make it to the end of stage 1. And it's also Evan Stewart, after all of the pit cycles have happened, Evan Stewart now will be starting from the point this restart. And don't forget, Nolan, he is our most recent winner, taking the W at Richmond just last week. And of course, he is alongside TJ Ivey, another person who's locked into the playoffs. He was able to do it 2 weeks ago at Atlanta. So a fun fact here, on the front row is the 2 previous winners of the last 2 weeks.
And of course, 6 different winners in the opening 6 races as well. So we have yet to get a repeat winner. Well, if nothing changes up front, we could very well be seeing our first repeat winner here this afternoon, but it's still early. Not even 10% of the way through this one, with the first caution coming out of turn 4 on just the opening lap of this race. So who knows? We'll see how this one's going to pan out. But right now, the RSC pace car going to make that sharp left-hand turn into pit road, and we will once again try to see if we can get some runs in. Green flag back in the air. Evan Stewart jumps on the loud pedal and takes us back to green.
Yeah, it's a great start from the leader. Way clear of second place by the time he gets to turn 1. And now we have some fighting here. I believe that is the 13. Daniel Emilio Marquand on the outside of Frank Chavez in the 23. And oh, it almost looked like contact. The 13 cleared him just before he slid down the track, and oh my gosh, they're getting really antsy out of 2.
And Jamie Lee Dunning having a bit of a moment there with Chris Gaxel nearly getting turned around as they come out of turn 2. A bit of 3 wide behind them. That's going to get back down to 2 as they enter the third turn of the racetrack. Up the road, Eric Borton, I think, caught the wall on the exit of 3. That lets Austin Guerrero drive around the outside of Jamin Bernhardt, and just like that, Guerrero will pick up the 6th place spot. Now, Austin Guerrero, not a driver that made a lot of friends last week at Richmond, so we'll see if his race is going to pan out. But he showed a lot of aggression last week, and that could go either way in a league like this.
Yeah, you always have to be careful how you race your fellow competitors, because if you race them dirty, they're going to race you dirty right back. So you want to be sure that you're careful about that. Now we have the 85. That's Dave Shively on the inside of the 12 for 16th position. And they're still going to be side by side all the way down turn 3. Oh, we have a car spinning.
And that is Thaddeus Frio Jr., who has just gone hard into the inside wall in the back straightaway. No caution because he is off the racetrack, but a big hit for the 98 car in the middle of the back chute.
Yeah, it almost looked like he got sent rear wide, had to jerk away from the wall, but by the time he did that, there was already a car in the inside. That's just what it looked like from an initial perspective. We can take a deeper look at it later, but right now we're going to have 3 battles into turn 1 here. And let's see if it gets sorted out. Terrence Murphy's looking for Jonathan Dominics. One car has to go all the way high to avoid contact.
And that's
going to 3 wide now.
Yeah, that's Brian Matthews, and he's being caught out by Chris Mack as well as Joshua Siegfried down to the inside of the racetrack, and they're going to gather things up here. Once this settles down, we'll get a look at what happened to Friel, but definitely not before. There's way too much happening on the racetrack to look away now as, well, drivers, oh, look out, up the racetrack, going to go Gaxel, and he gets hit up the backside, spins him around, and now the caution is out.
Okay, so we have 2 different incidents to look at now. Of course, what happened to Siegfried and then what happened to Gaxel most recently to bring out the caution. These drivers are fighting each other very tough here.
So this is in the initial incident that we saw with Friel, and this is on the middle of the back straightaway. No 3 wide. Friel just drifts down the racetrack and turned himself. Not clear. And he's going to back that car into the safer barrier. Good news is the hit was more or less square, Lucas, so we might be able to just get away with that.
It didn't look like too big of a hit into that wall, and he was able to pirouette it around a couple times and get himself back into the running order. Not too many laps down, but yeah, he just cleared himself, really is all I see there.
So he dings into the wall, and then just a lap later, this is what happened to Chris Gaxel. He got tagged from Hoagland, who just pushes way up the racetrack. And the 707 entry started the fishtail and just got finished off. I don't know who that was that tagged him, but then he's going to spin around and... Oh, man! Right into the cross gate. Golly, that's a violent place to hit a car here.
Yeah, we had something very similar happen to one of the trucks at last Saturday's race, but with the pit wall, if you remember.
Hoffman just overshot.
Yeah.
And then, bam! directly into that opening there. And that is an unprotected opening at that, right? I mean, yeah, there's Armco, but Armco's only going to do so much in a situation like that.
Yeah, not only that, it was right into that driver's side door as well, which makes it all the scarier.
Ay. Couple of big hits here early on. Already halfway through stage 1, but Lucas, we've only gotten about 3 laps of racing in.
Yeah, the cautions around here just take really long because it is a really big 2.5-mile speedway. So, you know, laps just pass quicker than you would think, or I should say laps pass slower than you think, but the caution laps take even longer. So, yeah.
Right
on
on
board. Laps of racing, a lot of laps of caution.
Gaxel's going to get hit here and starts to spin him out, and then right there's the impact, and then fires right into that opening. And jeez, we talk about being spun into quite literally one of the worst places on the racetrack, right? I mean, that's one of those things where they have the opening because A, you got to have the safety cars come out somewhere, but B, how are you going to get a car to spin in there? Well, we just found out how. Got spun at exactly the right angle to send him careening into that Armco.
Although he drove away from it pretty okay, so I'm curious to see if the 707 has too much damage. He definitely has some left aero damage, probably a bit of wheel damage as well. But from what it looked like in that angle, it might still be drivable. Because I think he's probably just trying to get that car fixed right now.
Well, there it is. Yeah. He's going to get back on the racetrack without losing a lap, which of course is going to be critical for him. And while we got the iRacing pace car that is going to lead the field around, and we should take the 1-to-go signal this time by. Let's catch you up on what's coming up here throughout this weekend and into next week as well, as it's going to be the FTR Events Trophy.ai Endurance Series at the Sebring International Raceway. That is coming on up tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And alongside them, Lucas, you're back in the booth for the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series finale at the Phoenix Raceway. And then later on, you and I are back for more of the SRE Super Speedway Blitz at the Echo Park Speedway. Then on Sunday, it's the big show, the Classic IndyCar Series, with one of the most famous races you can find out there. The 8th annual running of the Paper Recycling Systems Indianapolis 500. A full 33-car grid, a 3-wide start. It is going to be a show you're not going to want to miss on Sunday afternoon. And then more action for the Mid-Atlantic Racing Series as they get set to duke it out at Talladega Superspeedway on Tuesday, while everybody else is mostly off for American Thanksgiving this coming week.
Yeah, we do have another race, although on Black Friday, I believe it is.
Indeed.
That's next week, November 28th for ZTRL. Like I said, on Black Friday, and I believe that is around Kansas. Around Kansas. I do not know why I said Kansas. Wow. It's around Kansas Speedway. So that should be a good race. Kansas is a great track for these cars. A lot of multi-groove racing provides some really good battle opportunities. But now here we go, lap 11. It'll only be 9 laps left in the stage by the time they get green here. So let's see if, these drivers can make use of that time, keep it green, so we can get some shuffling in that top 10 and really, figure out who deserves these stage points here.
Green flag coming out this time by, as the pack is going to get set to duke it out all over again. 9 laps to go in stage 1. Green flag is back in the air.
We have one battle happening in the field. That's for 3rd place. And that's going to get sorted out right away. So this top 5 or 6 already sorted out. That first battle is, I believe, for 8th place. Just behind Austin Guerrero there. And behind that, it's a complete hornet's nest.
And fanning out all the way down the back straightaway here into turn numbers 3 and 4. As deeper in the pack, Jonathan Dominic's trying to fight it out with Terrence Murphy. Hold on as Frank Chavez catches the wall. That stacks up the entire field. And Chavez out wide again. 3 wide, the middle of 4. Dominic shoots the middle.
Dominic's with a really aggressive move. Now on the far outside, we're still 2 wide going down to turn 1 here. Chavez was able to stay in front for a little bit, but then he just got absolutely passed. I believe he fell back 4 or 5 spots from that as Murphy on the inside of Dominic's. This battle is going to keep going all the way through, too.
Driving her in deep. Dominic's able to hold on for the time being. You got Terrence Murphy down on the inside. Joshua Siegfried just behind. Robert Tester in the mix. As these drivers seek to battle it out, and Siegfried now getting checked up into Tester. But it looks like we're starting to get things a little bit more cool than what we had for the opening 10 laps or so.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit cooler, but with Murphy and Dominic's nearly bumping down the front straight, it's definitely not completely cooled off, and they're still hard fighting out there as they nearly touch. And the exit of 1 and down the short chute they go. They're still going to be side by side. Nolan, I feel like the 4 and the 45 have done probably an entire lap and a half now, side by side, and they're still fighting it out down the back stretch here.
And Chris Mack with an over-under on Robert Tester as Mackey caught the wall coming out of 1. He was able to shoot down the inside through 2, though, and pick up the spot. Joshua Siegfried now, the next driver to come under fire here from Terrence Murphy, but Siegfried is going to pull clear. All the while, further up the road, Blake Hewlett, Justin Day scrapping it out, and you got Jamin Bernhardt as well, trying to insert himself, making it a 3-way battle for 6th.
Yeah, they're still going to be fighting it out once again, side by side through 2. Once again, Bernhardt and Hewlett now wins. Still, they're going to come a little close on exit, but I do believe the caution comes out right after Blake Hewlett makes that move. And Skaxel again.
Yeah, Chris Skaxel for a 2nd time tonight. Oh, that car is busted up. You can see how much that car was just struggling to even get on the power there. I think Axel's day might very well be over. Take a look and let's see if we can find out what happens to him. He was already bent up from that first crash on the night, remember? And just lost this one by himself. He does keep it off the inside wall, but evidently the car not as patched up as he thought it was.
Yeah, a little bit of rear damage, I would assume. You know, causes a lack of rear downforce, which causes that rear end to slip out from under him and him to lose control of the car. As you can see, it's just little tiny moments. And he initially saves it, but his overcorrect was just too much, and that is really what caused the spin in the end.
Well, at least he saved the car from being able... He saved the car from hitting the inside wall, right? So that could have been worse for him, but evidently more damages aboard that machine are needed. Now, we are at 5, coming to 4 laps to go in this stage. I believe we are going to restart this race before the end of stage 1, but we don't have much left in it.
Yeah, if we do, it'll probably be with 2 or 3 to go at most, I would assume. So if we restart and another caution comes, that would then definitely be the end of stage 1. But this caution, we're going to get a 2-lap shootout, and that will then bring us to the end of stage 1. So I'm just hoping for some good green flag racing, so we can, you know, watch these drivers battle out for the top 10, and we don't just have to sit here and watch them pace behind the pace car the entire time, as we do have some takers to pit road. I believe I see Murphy's 5 machine coming down.
And Terrence Murphy coming down to pit road. Willie Smith is in. So is Brian Matthews. Farless, Samuel Longworth. No surprise, Gaxel is in as well. The top 9 still have stayed out. And critically, the first driver fresh tires is Daniel Emilio Marroquin. But he's all the way back in 18th place. And I don't think those fresh tires are going to help him much, Lucas, because, well, we've been under caution so much, we haven't had time to use the tires.
Yeah, the tires on these race cars of the people that haven't pit aren't going to be dramatically worse than the people that have pit, just because of what you said. We've only had, what, 6 or 7 laps of green flag racing?
At best.
Everything else has been turned under caution. Yeah, I know, maybe even less, like 5 or something. Everything else has been under caution at 60 miles an hour, not putting any heat or pressure into the tires. So at worst, I would think that these leaders' tires are probably at 93, 95% at worst. They could definitely be higher if they've been saving. So the pace disparity between these front guys that have not pit and the guys in the back that have pit is going to be very small.
Pretty mixed bag of Fords and Chevys up at the front of the grid. Very few Toyotas in the field as per the norm. Highest running Toyotas are 10th and 13th, and I believe Eric Morton's Toyota out of the race. And there's only one more in the field, and that one is situated all the way back in 28th as well with Ethan Farless, who just came down to pit road. So not a lot of love for the Camry still out here on the racetrack. And right now, it's anybody's guess whether it's a Camaro or a Mustang that takes the victory lane.
Yeah, it's going to be American built, though, most of the time in a predominantly American series around iRacing. Just because, you know, Americans are passionate about their nation, you know, a lot of nationalism for America. So they're going to be running those Fords, those Chevys, and the Japanese Toyota brand isn't as highly represented, even though the Camry, of course, is still a great car that competes in the Cup Series week in and week out as well.
I'm just saying, my Corolla gets better fuel mileage than one of these things.
I mean, I feel like any car gets better fuel mileage than any race car.
Well, that's a lie. You have Formula E. They have the best fuel mileage out of any race car.
Okay, good point. I'm going to run some numbers
They have better
real
fuel mileage because they don't have fuel mileage.
It's true.
Oh, we're getting set to return.
In an Indy car, yeah, on an Indy car, you can go 20 laps on a gallon. Or not, sorry, 20 laps on a tank of fuel. Each tank of fuel is 18.5 gallons.
Oh, they have a new hybrid
system. So they can go.
Well.
That's true. That's a good point. But they can go, what is that? 50 miles on 18.5 gallons. So that's like 2 mpg, just under.
It's not great. It's not.
No, it's
you know
not.
What? For all the for all the crap I like to give Formula One, those cars are pretty good fuel mileage because they can make it through a whole 300-kilometer race without filling up fuel once. So fair play.
That's true. Yeah,
fair play F1.
They have to actually focus on it, yeah. Because FIA, once they banned refueling, they actually had to focus on making their engines more efficient.
Curiosity question, you're kicking in. Yeah, you're looking at about 4 to 6 miles per gallon on an F1 car. By race car standards, that's not terrible.
It's really not, yeah. I mean, the IndyCar, per my predictions, about 2.73. So about double the MPG of IndyCar.
Well, 2 laps to go in stage 1 here today as we are gearing up to see who's getting to be where at the end of this one. And, well, the green flag going to come back out. And Evan Stewart leads this field back to the green flag. And they're fanning out 2 by behind. Next caution in stage 1.
Once again, Evan Stewart has the ability to start the restart whenever he wants. And he's able to use that to get a great advantage, a great jump onto TJ Ivy as 3 wide almost. That's Siegfried up top, Shifley on the bottom. And of course, Jamie Lee Dunning sandwiched in the middle. They get themselves sorted out. Down to turn 3 we go, and they're so completely close to each other. I could throw a blanket and cover all 20 cars we're looking at.
Oh, hold on. Look out as the 14 car Bernhard way up the racetrack, catches the wall, gets into Siegfried, gets into Dominic's. Siegfried to the wall. Dominic's goes around and oh my goodness, it's a huge crash and upside down goes Joshua Siegfried. They're still piling in here well after the caution is out. And Siegfried is stranded on his roof. Well, Siegfried's day is done, and for the second week in a row, we've had a car go upside down at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and that will end the stage. Evan Stewart takes this one.
Yeah, so Evan Stewart getting himself that all-important playoff point for the round of 16. And yes, Siegfried having terrible luck today. Fortunately for him, though, Nolan, he is 99 points to the good right now. So, you know, it could get worse, is all I'm saying.
Boy, and that was a tough break for Siegfried. You see Bernhard just way up the racetrack, and that caused a massive scramble. Siegfried lost it, and then Dominic's lost it. Siegfried slides with the track, collects just everybody else, and up and over goes Joshua Siegfried, who just got caught in the exact perfect circumstances to pitch that car onto its lid. There's the 75. He's going to slide and clobber the outside wall as well.
Yeah, and it was such a weird wreck because it just kept going. It started with one car, and then it became two cars, and then those two cars slid back onto the track and made that whole pile up. It was just really weird to watch because it really chain reaction in such a weird manner.
He overshot. He was about to run into Blake Hewlett because he overshot his braking point, and that's just what kicked this whole thing off. That's what, 8-9 cars collected up in that mess? We know for sure it is definitely the big one over in turn number 4.
To be fair to the 14, though, I mean, he, lightly topped the wall, but he kept his car out of everybody else's until, you know, the big contact actually started happening.
Take a look here as up, and this is going to be a big crunch up into the wall for the two of Siegfried, who then goes sliding down the racetrack, and he's going to just collect a lot of them from the air. Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. There it is. There's Siegfried.
And boom.
And that, I mean, he's just carrying so much momentum, and just the tap that he got from the car behind gave him a little bit of air under that right side of the car that was perpendicular with the track. And that's all it took for the air to just completely lift it up and over, because he was still going so fast. He's probably still carrying 120, 150 miles an hour his speed there.
Yes, sir. All of this will lead us to caution flag number 4 of the night, and this one sees Siegfried go upside down. We'll be back in a moment with more on Green Flag TV. Stay with us here as we'll return with the green flag.
Rev TV brings the world of motorsports into your home with over 100 live race series such as MotoGP, IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, Extreme E, World Superbike, and the newly launched all-electric E1 series. From 2 wheels to 4, from land to sea, your destination is Rev TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
At Pinnacle Wraps, we proudly offer top-tier liveries that showcase your unique style on the racetrack. Elevate your iRacing experience today with a stunning custom design that truly represents who you are and your passion for racing.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where we are under the 4th or 5th caution at this point of the night. This one brought it into stage number 1, and it happens with the big one over in turn number 4. Josh Siegfried, of course, flipped upside down. This is what Siegfried saw as this car got pitched up into the air. You see the 14 of Bernhard up the track, and it causes complete mayhem.
Oh my. The sound is so violent too.
And he's going to slide all the way down the racetrack and end up stranded on his roof. Was not able to get flipped back over on all fours. So that is going to be the end of the day for Siegfried. Ron Malama and Daniel Emilio Moroquin, by the way, both have black flags that they're going to have to come down and serve. Evan Stewart, the driver that won the stage, remains up front. And Lucas, surprisingly, the top 8 still haven't come down pit road.
I mean, at this point, if you're saving a little bit under the green flag, you know, under cautions, clutch in 5th gear, with how many cautions we've had, you could go the distance, the absolute distance here, with just one tank of fuel. So it definitely makes sense. It's a strategy that at this point of the race, I would probably try as well. Just extend as far as you can, especially if they keep this up. You know, we thought, or at least I thought, that after that first caution, the jitters would come out, we could get some green flag racing. That was not the case, and it's still been caution after caution after caution. And if it keeps that up, and you're able to keep saving a lot of fuel under those cautions, there isn't a point to come down pit road, not just yet at least. So I definitely agree with the strategy.
This is on board with Jamin Bernhard, the driver that was the catalyst for that big incident. You saw him overshoot turn 3. Joy running in, the driver's in front, and, well, Vandy gets to watch the absolute mess. And he got caught up right in the middle of it as well.
Yeah, it's such a scary sight seeing Siegfried just rocking back and forth on his roof like that.
That's more of a thing. It's like, is he gonna get back on all fours? Will he? Won't he? No, he won't. He's come to a stop. But yeah. Stage 2 officially about to get underway. Stage 2 will be ending at the tail end of lap number 45. And we will gear up and get right back to it here this afternoon. Just over a quarter distance through this one. Green flag is back in the air. Oh, never mind. They waved it off. They launched in the restart zone, but the start got called off, so we will hold them up.
Once again, I just think that drivers coming off of pit lane, a bit too slow to catch up to the pack, not able to make it fully, and because of that, you know, people weren't able to find their position. Maybe black flags were happening.
Watch.
You can take a look at the flag.
Right there,
yeah.
You see him withdraw the green flag, put the yellow back out after Evan Stewart had already started to go. And, of course, Barnon the flag man, an ever-diligent staff member to all iRacing broadcasts and the all-knowing, omnipotent being that keeps us all safe, as you can be in the virtual world, but the pace car driver not so keen on safety, it seems. There's an open lane to the top, you know. You don't have to... Okay. That works.
I mean, if you can phase through them, I mean, why not? It would always be,
beings, man.
I think,
they
a fun
do what they will.
To just... Yeah, I do. I mean, imagine driving through somebody else. Like that would have to be such a cool experience.
So we slow this one down again, and well, we'll get the chance to talk a little bit more. Was looking for Evan Stewart, the half-baked racing driver. We'll bring him up here into the broadcast booth. Give a chit-chat in here with the Stage 1 winner of the night. Evan, you win Stage 1 here this afternoon. Kind of talk us through your race so far. How is the car feeling?
It feels great. I wish we could go green, but you know, it's whatever. At the end of the day, I got a stage win. If we go green, I definitely feel like I got another car to beat in my next closest home track compared to Kentucky Speedway. So to win this one would be big for me. We're gonna go out in stage 2 and hopefully have a strategy to put us back out at the front beginning of stage 3.
Well, you've just come down to the pit road now. You did stay out into the initial caution. In fact, everybody down to the pit road. What's the strategy play here?
Yeah, so I was gonna pit before the stage ended, but they told me not to, so the stage points, we could get stage points, and then pits would just never open back up, so I had to stay out. And then so they threw another caution to try and get the pits to open back up, which didn't work. So they had to delay it again for the pits to open. It's just a catastrophe. So it got a lot of work to do now for them to get back in between the ones that flipped the stage, but we got this.
Well, still a long race ahead if you have in, and we might be talking again at the end. Good luck.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Well, Lucas, that led in some insight as to why the start got waved off as well. Evidently a pit road issue that has led this field to be turned on its head. Terrence Murphy now leads the way. He's opted for the outside. Farless and Matthews did not come down pit road. Everyone else behind, from TJ Ivy on back, has come down.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah, as you said, as Evan Stewart was saying as well, they just missed the pit cycle for whatever reason. So now they read through the caution out. They are able to come down pit road. A lot of those top runners that we were talking about that hadn't quite pit yet, I believe it was the top 8 you said, they have now gotten their chance to come down pit road, which leaves the Cincinnati native of Terrence Murphy at the point of the field for this next restart. And if they start packing up here, that might be good news that we can get the 1 to go call.
Well, we'll see.
As no 2 to go as the pace car. There we go. Okay, never mind.
Lights go out, and we'll try again to go green flag racing this time by. And Louis, we kind of talked about it earlier, right? Stage 1 obviously only lasting to lap 20, and in those 20 laps, we only got 8 laps of racing in tops, and that is counting laps that we didn't complete all the way because cautions came out in the middle of them. So that's not a good number for stage 1, and this league hoping for more in stage 2.
Yeah, and if you convert that to a percent, what is that, 8 over 20, 4 over 10, so 40% of the laps raced in stage 1 were under green flag conditions, which means that 60 of them were going to be under that yellow flag. So really, really hoping drivers can clean it up here. Surely by lap 26, we've gotten the jitters out. We can calm ourselves down. We can play the long game now, play to make it to the end of the race instead of playing to, you know, get one position here but have a huge chance of completely ruining your race. So let's hope now we've settled in. 26 laps to go, or not, sorry, 26 laps in. These racers have gotten, that's the long run mindset now.
Terrence Murphy getting set to take this field back to the green flag. Brian Matthews second, TJ Ivy third. With Farless back in fourth, the first driver that came down to pit road, but it was only for fuel. The base car ducks into pit road. And we will jump on the restart zone this time by a lot of cars. Still single file at the tail end. Green flag is back in the air.
TJ Ivy already with an aggressive move down the inside of Matthews into 1. Not able to find the quarter panel. The 28 able to close off the 88 on that occasion. Ivy gets really loose off the exit of 1.
We're not done yet.
Falling down the order.
TJ Ivy slipping backwards into 16th. He's going to be able to utilize that pit exit road to gather things up. And now that, again, stacks everything up. So we are 2 by 2. Back to the field into turn 3. Tracking up. Oh, boy. As Evan Stewart nearly gets up and into Farless on the outside. And Stephen Blevins clawing his way back to the order as well.
Yeah, now a move that's Stewart looks on the inside, and Justin Day has to back off on that occasion. And remember, Stewart being your stage 1 winner, leading a lot of the laps so far this race. He has a lot of pace, he has shown, so he's going to want to make these moves very quickly, get back to the top of that pack. And also winning a stage so handedly like he did, it shows the other drivers around you that I am here to race. I probably have more pace than you, and you might not want to race me as hard as you usually would. As Chris Mackey gets the move down on Stephen Blevins, putting him up into the 8th spot.
The field driving it in deep here, and now up front, Terrence Murphy under fire. Brian Matthews looking like he wants to try and poke his nose down the inside into turn number 3. Or turn number 1, sorry, no dice, and Matthews going to tuck back in line. And he'll have to try again. A missed opportunity there for him. You want to talk about side-by-side, though? How about Dominique's down the inside of Hogland? And you've also got Freeland Dunning double file at the head of the field.
Yeah, they're fanning out. Corio's really wide. Is it Gaxel again, I think?
It is Gaxel again, and he's just going to catch the outside wall. And caution number 6 on the day. And we slow it down again. And we started this race, Lucas, just about 45 minutes ago. At this rate, do you mind doing me a favor and check what the time limit on this race is? We could be at risk of that if it's set too low.
I believe it's 2.5 hours in this league. I don't think I actually have access to looking at it.
Well, Gaxel just losing the back end,
Same
and
thing.
around he goes. Yeah, same thing as the last time we saw this car go around. And he's going to spin up the racetrack. 3-hour time limit, by the way, for the race session. So no risk of hitting the time limit, at least. That's the good news.
Yeah. If we do hit that time limit, I don't even know. 3 hours is such a long race for 80 laps around Indy. So if we get close to it, I would be surprised. I mean, 3 hours is about the length of a full race NASCAR race, which is 160 laps around here. So I would be very shocked if we come near that. But I guess with the way these cautions are coming out, it's not completely out of the picture.
So Murphy leads the way from Brian Matthews, and there you see Daniel Molinari still in the fight, getting his lap back. You know, Molinari caught up in that lap 1 crash, remember. He's the one that got turned into the outside wall of the front straight. We thought it was done for the day. Now, he's 3 laps down, but critically, he's got 1 back. So Molinari looking like he might be trying to make a comeback today.
Yeah, and I don't know if we're able to pull up the playoff picture, but he is sitting 20th, down 16 from that bubble. So he really has to just stay in this race, fight for as many points as he possibly can, try to get that car, I believe he already did as it looks repaired, but essentially what you do is every single caution you come down and fix it 45 seconds at a time to keep yourself on the lead lap as best as you can. And every single caution, you just do that, pit, go out, pit, go out. And now, as you said, I believe 3 laps down, gets one of them back here. He has a real shot getting himself back on the lead lap and, staying in the fight for these ever so important points, because every single position is just one more point. And when you're 16 points out, every single point matters that much more. So, makes sense. You just have to play the points game, and he's doing it very well right here today.
That's one of the advantages of a really big track like this that a lot of drivers didn't get at Richmond, right? Richmond's a very short racetrack. You don't have that long in pit road before you lose the lap. Indianapolis, a very big track with a very low pit speed, with a very low pacing speed as well. So you have a lot more time here to sit in pit road to get damage repairs than normal, right? I mean, you're talking, some drivers have been sitting here for over a minute already, and they're not even close to going a lap down yet because the pace cars hasn't even come around 4 yet.
Yeah, that's another great point. At big tracks like Daytona, like Talladega, like Auto Club, and of course, like IMS here tonight, you are able to have so much time to fix some of the damage. I said 45 to 50 seconds earlier. That's more of an average across all of the tracks, and probably what you'd be able to do at an intermediate track like Atlanta or Charlotte. But yeah, you're right. Around a big track like this, you're looking at a minute 20, maybe even a minute and 30 seconds of damage being fixed every single caution. So you can get that fixed right up really quickly and get yourself back in the fight just that bit quicker.
And all of this will take us back around to 1 lap to go. And we've got, quick math, working in my head, 13 laps to go in stage 2.
Yeah, good job.
When we take to the green flag. It's that transition from 2 to 3 that always gets you, whether or not you got 12 or 13 laps left.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. What I always like to do is, I think about it. So if we're currently on lap 32, at the line, we'll have 13 to go.
Yeah, of course.
So you don't have to worry with the +1 and everything. That's how I always like to think about it, especially when I'm running field numbers in my head, like in the middle of a race, just down the front straight. You have to think about it as quickly as possible. So I quickly look, okay, I'm on lap 66 of 75. Okay, so I need to have 9 at the line to make it good. And if I have 9.5, then we're like, okay, we're in the green by half a lap, and we are chilling. And that's a really good trick to make sure you're hitting your field number if there's any other racers out there tonight.
Look at us giving away all of our broadcaster secrets up here.
Shoots.
That's how you know it's been a long night. It's going to be a
long
long night, so we're not even halfway home. Oh, boy. It's gonna be. It's like we said right when Siegfried flipped over. Yep, gonna be one of those nights. Still, out of the 33 cars that started this race, we still have 27 that are in the running. And the green flag coming back out this time by Terrence Murphy, leading us back into the restart zone, and we're back to it.
Murphy gets a great jump. Matthews once again holding on to that second position. Evan Stewart, now your stage 1 winner, looking around the outside of Akari King, right? Usually in that number 1 machine, iRacing's had a bit of a bug and put him in the 16 for whatever reason. iRacing doing iRacing things, but Evan Stewart able to fight off Akari King, right? Gets a great run. Now looking on the inside of Brian Matthews for second position. He's got a run. He's got the car there. They're door to 3. Now we're going to turn the attention to the further back in the field. This is happening right in front of Shively. That's a 12 going all the way up and almost hitting the wall on the exit of 4.
Now, last time we saw that, we got a 9-car pileup and 1 car upside down, and Hogland tried to cut in, but Farless was still there. And they're going to be 2 by down the front straightaway once more. Hogland looking to the inside. Shively tried to go on the offense, got cut off though. All the while, Terrence Murphy trying to fend back stage 2 winner Evan Stewart. And Murphy up to the outside, and here comes Stewart down the inside, side by side for the lead.
Yeah, Stewart once again gets a great run off of the exit too. Has that preferred inside line into 3 and makes that move look super easy. I don't have the tire numbers with me right now. I wonder if Evan Stewart just has much fresher tires than Murphy, as we have a couple cars dropping all the way down the order.
And
what happened to Farless?
Well, whatever it was brings out a caution. I think that answers it enough.
Yeah.
He spun.
Touché. As the 84, I think the 13 was involved in it as well, as I might have caught a glimpse of him falling down the order.
This is Hogland behind. Farless gets loose. Lost that by himself, and then he's going to just barely keep it off the inside wall. And spins right back up the racetrack. How about that? What a save.
Yeah, no other cars hit him as well.
That's
the only reason
incredible.
iRacing brought out the caution solely because he saved it back onto the racing surface, but no damage for any of the cars there. He's so close to that wall. Oh my.
Good job on the drivers going up high to scatter as well. Man, that is awful close to that inside wall. You saw him throttle it up though, right in the grass, just to get the momentum going forward and keep that car off of the racetrack, right on board to the back end.
Yeah, this would be a great view to see how close he gets to the wall in.
Oh boy.
Centimeters. Wow.
Doesn't miss a beat, gets her back into gear, and rolls on out. 10 laps to go in stage number 1, and this race still with a lot in the tank before this one is out. We'll be back in a moment with more on Green Flag TV.
At Pinnacle Wraps, we proudly offer top-tier liveries that showcase your unique style on the racetrack. Elevate your iRacing experience today with a stunning custom design that truly represents who you are and your passion for racing.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Rev TV brings the world of motorsports into your home with over 100 live race series such as MotoGP, IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, Extreme E, World Superbike, and the newly launched all-electric E1 series. From 2 wheels to 4, from land to sea, your destination is Rev TV.
Green flag coming back out this time by. Welcome once again to the ZTRL Racing League. My name is Ola Rampel alongside Lucas Moody, bringing you all the action for what there has been from Gasoline Alley here this afternoon. Lucas, an absolute war of attrition out there, just like at the Richmond Raceway 1 week ago, and it's not looking to die off anytime soon.
Yeah, caution after caution after caution is what tonight has been, but every single time we go back green, I hope that we can see some good racing means, as I think my attempt to rhyme made my sentence not make sense. But that doesn't matter because we're about to go green. Lap 37, 3 laps till halfway, 8 laps until the end of stage 2, and 43 laps till the end of the race. It's Evan Stewart and Terrence Murphy, 2 drivers already locked in on the playoffs, can be fighting it out on the front row here. And just behind, Brian Matthews, Mackey, and Guerrero, all not won a race yet this season. Those 3 drivers are going to be fighting especially hard to lock their way into the top 16. But with these cars coming around turn 3, it's going to be an all-out fight between the 5, the 28, and the 10 here.
Green flag coming back out this time by as Murphy and Stewart will be the 2 to lead us back to the green flag here. Stewart, the stage 1 winner, trying to go back-to-back in the stages. And all of this sees the green flag drop once again. Green flag is out with less than 10 to go in stage 2.
Mackey and Matthews side by side. Matthews has the inside line. Mackey, though, able to stick it around the outside. He keeps his car there. Even has a bit of a gap going into turn 2 around the short chute. He's going to get a great run, a great exit down the back straight here. He just might be able to clear Brian Matthews by the time they get to 3, but no! Matthews is getting a push from Tester.
Robert Tester coming on down here. As Mackey up to the top side. Matthews down low. Tester with a little bit of a bobble in the middle. And still we gather it up. And approaching the 6 laps to go mark in just a little while. Right now, 7 to go in stage 2. Jamie Lee Dunning looking to the inside of a Card King right. Well, Matthews misses the bottom in 1.
Yeah, that could leave the door open now for Chris Mackey. He does take that opportunity to take the inside line here. We're going to see if Tester chooses Brian Matthews again or if he's going to keep pushing the guy in the inside line.
Rum along into the wall, back straight away. No caution yet.
No caution, please.
Somehow no caution as we take off once again into turn numbers 3 and 4. Now, oh, Tester catches the wall, and that nearly sends right into Guerrero.
Yeah. I mean, it's Jeff Gordon on the inside of Austin Guerrero on the inside of Robert Tester. It's about to be 3 wide as the Card King Right's looking interested in this battle.
Oh, that's going to get tight there right in the middle of Card King Right, forced to back out for the outside, and Dunning's going to go around. Catches it on the apron, drifts back up, and he's going to take out the 33 of Douglas Ivy. Are you kidding me? Come on.
What?
Talk about a sloppy rejoin.
Jamie Lee Dunning gets loose, tries to rejoin the track, carries too much speed coming through the grass, and clips that 33 of Douglas Ivy. This is how it all started. Oh no, that's not how it all started. This just happened behind. That all got sorted out.
Yeah, that was what happened initially, and then it all actually kicked off with Jamie Lee Dunning. Now, this was 3 wide. Coming down into, right there, you see Dunning start to go around. He saves it and then just doesn't slow down for turn 2. Goes all the way to the racetrack and just takes out the 33.
I mean, there's not a lot of incidents in racing where it's 100% of the fault on one car and 0% of the fault on another car. But let me tell you, this is definitely one of those moments.
Well, considering Dunning lost it by himself, yeah, I mean, definitely.
Yeah. But like, think that type of incident happens so little in racing, because a lot of the time it's like you could have given a little more room, and because of that, you know, 10 or 15% of the blame can be put on yourself. Here, Ivy's just running one lane up the racing line. He's already leaving more than enough room. I mean, that is so
I got no
criminal.
words.
I can't lie. Yeah,
that's going to be talked to post-race for sure. And again, just like stage 1, by the way, this has not ended the stage. We will go green before this next one is out.
Yeah, and you know what that means? We're going to get a caution in turn 1, and that will be the end of the stage for us. As pit cycle is now going to happen. I believe that's Dominic's. I see Marquin coming down as well.
TJ Ivy is in. Hewlett, Farless, Smith, Kimber, Gaxel, Longworth, Chavez, and more. Officially, we are just now past the halfway point, an hour and 20 minutes into our broadcast this afternoon.
So we're on pace to beat the 3 hours, is what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. As, yeah, Nolan, you bring up a great point. If it continues at this pace, we will be here for 2 hours and 40 minutes. So the race will end at approximately 10:40-ish, which would beat the 3-hour time limit, I believe, that iRacing sets on this race, because it's however much you pay for. And that will come at around 11 o'clock EST. So, you know, we're on set to beat it by 20 whole minutes. So it's pretty good.
Evan Stewart still leads the way. Terrence Murphy still in second. From there it is Matthews and Mackey. Those two drivers, by the way, are the two biggest movers on the day, plus 28 and plus 26 respectively. Kester back in 5th. Guerrero 6th. He is up 11. McCarking right in 7th. Jamie Lee Dunning 8th after the crash. Stephen Blevins 9th. And Justin Day plus 11. With that is Jr. They sit 10th and 11th. Samuel Longworth, another big mover. He's plus 15, although sitting back at 18th.
Yeah, and this is a big day for Brian Matthews, as currently 13th in the standings, only 26 good from that cutoff bubble. Being up here running in 3rd, that is 35 points if he finishes where he is right now, which is a huge leapfrog that he can do on the guys behind and build that gap, or sorry, a leapfrog he can do on the guys ahead and build that gap behind even more. So great day from the 28 machine, and as well from Chris Mackey. He's currently not inside this top 20 running. I'm gonna pull up a different standings tab, see if I can find where he is. But a good 4th place here could really start catapulting him up to that top 20, and he can start knocking on the door of that top 16.
It will be a 2-lap dash to decide this one. Again, just like we saw in stage 1. A almost carbon copy, in fact, of how stage 1 played out.
With Stewart still leading, yeah.
No kidding. I didn't even consider that. Yeah, Stewart's still leading. So Evan Stewart looking like he could walk out of this one here with the second stage win. And heck, I was half joking at the start that we might get our first repeat winner today because of how early it was. We actually might at this point because no one can catch him. We don't go green long enough.
Yeah, I mean, it is impossible to pass somebody under yellow flag. It's straight up prohibited, not allowed. So if it keeps up this pace, Evan Stewart looking like a big favorite to win. And I did find out Chris Mackey, currently sitting 35th in the standings. He's only done one race, and that was last week out at Richmond, where I believe he finished very, very good. Yeah, finished 4th last week out at Richmond. So here's his second race, also finishing 4th. He is really fighting for some points here. He might be in a must-win situation at this point, but if he keeps that 10 machine up in these positions, something happens to the guys in front of him, he's the one there to clean up and take home the win. So he just has to keep putting these consistent drives, and he can still make that top 16, even though this is his second race of the season.
Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go in stage number 2. Evan Stewart driving her in deep into turn numbers 1 and 2, trying to build some sort of a buffer zone just to hold on for 5 more miles. Might not have to though, as Guerrero catches the wall and nearly turns off across the nose of Akari King right.
And now Guerrero gets sent down the inside. It's Akari King right on the inside. Tester as well, looking for a move on the 28 of Brian Matthews. It's going to be 2 by 2 down into turn 3. Akari King right gets the move done on Guerrero. Matthews way, way high up into the wall. Tester gets the move done there. We have 2 overtakes done simultaneously on.
And that's
the
the
stage. Comes out.
Gaxel for the 4th time tonight. That car is going to go around. Keeney Kimber involved in this one. Jamin Bernhard, who was actually, speaking of which, Jamin Bernhard, the driver that was involved in the last stage-ending crash as well. So we quite literally are just repeating carbon copy incidents of what we saw earlier on, but this time it looks like Bernhard has really hit the wall. Take a look here. Oh my goodness me. Well, that'll do it. Aggressive 3 wide into turn number 3. Pushes Molinari and Kimber up the racetrack. They both go into the wall, and Gaxel has nowhere to go.
Yeah, unlike the 2 previous self-spins there from the 707, this is one he had 0 control over.
Same for Bernhardt, who went up and around. Take a look at this one down the back straightaway, because this was extremely aggressive right in front of these guys. Look at that 13. Watching how aggressively they all get pinched here. I mean, Molinari is trying to get pinched in. He may have had contact with the 13 to slide them up to kick this off.
I mean, yeah, maybe a slight bit of contact between the 82 and the 13, but to me it looks like the 82 just had too much speed coming into that corner and just not able to slow the car down in time. And of course, with Kimber being there on the outside, never gonna end well for those cars, and it didn't. As a 65 and the 82, a hefty chunk of damage, might be the end of the day for those two. And yeah, as you guys can see on the screen, Stewart takes home another playoff point and another 10 points in the championship battle.
Solid effort for Stewart. Just racking them up, isn't he? And this is going to bring for the second time the entire field down to pit road. Now, last time we saw this, Stewart dropped from 1st to 9th, and I'm curious to see how far he's going to fall back now. But critically, he's not going to be up front because some drivers are staying out.
Yeah, I can see Dominic's is the lead car not staying out. Cannot tell quite who it is behind him. It might be TJ Ivy. It is Ivy. I think it's because didn't those two come down pit road not too long ago? I believe 5 or 6 laps ago at the last caution. So it makes sense that they would stay out here and take their track position if they already have a good amount of fuel in their car.
Stewart first into pit road, first out of pit road. He'll cycle through to scratch that. Jamie Lee Dunning first out of pit road. He took fuel only. So did Blake Hewlett. Evan Stewart, though, taking 4 tires. So he's just made his first tire change of the entire day.
Wow. I mean, if that doesn't go to show how many laps these drivers have turned under cautions, I don't know what will.
Well, Lucas, we got some time here under this yellow flag. Any driver you want to give a chat to here before we go green?
I mean, I am always down to bring up the Cincinnati homeboy, Terrence Murphy, up into the booth and have a good chat with him.
Let's see if we can find Terrence Murphy. All the way at the bottom here. Let's bring the Gator Motorsports driver to the broadcast booth. And Lucas, I will hand this one off to you.
Well, welcome into the booth, Terrence Murphy. We saw you battling up for those lead spots early in stage 2 there. Do you think you have an answer for what Evan Stewart's team has brought here today?
Probably not, unfortunately. I need to figure it out, but I realized I saved a heck of a lot more tire through that 45-lap run or whatever than I thought I did. So I'm just gonna balls to the walls here. I'm in the playoffs, so let's try to win.
Yeah, I like that idea, and especially in a race that has been caution after caution after caution, it might just be a better idea to not play the long game and play the short game and play for really aggressive attacks.
Yep, I worked out with tire strategy, so I've still got an extra set here. Depending on how the cautions keep going, whether or not I'm going to be able to take those 4. But yep, a little stretch run to the end here. So hopefully we do get some green flag in, because that's one of the only things I got to practice was green flag pit entry. Feel pretty good there, but we'll see if I ever get to use it.
And then, yeah, my last question for you, Joe Burrow, back fully active in practice. You excited for Sunday? He might get to play.
Oh yeah, we'll be cheering him on from section 101. Can't wait.
All right,
although
yes, sir.
We're still going to lose probably 50 to 45, but it's all right.
Yeah, I think 100 to 102 is the projected scores.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right, well, good luck.
Thanks, brother.
And that is Terrence Murphy. He will be restarting his race 8th place, currently up 2 on the day. One of the drivers are pitted for fresh tires under this latest yellow flag here. Sit rep on the field. 33 started. 26 are running. 25 on the lead lap.
And the new leader for the race, Jonathan Dominics, will be taking the point here at this restart, lining up alongside TJ Ivey, which is not an unfamiliar face to this front row, and then just behind Jamie Lee Dunning and Frank Chavez. So we've talked about this playoff position, or this playoff points, I should say, how 6 out of the 6 races so far have seen a new driver winning. And of this top 4, only one of those cars is already locked in the playoffs, and that's your second place runner, TJ Ivey. Dominics, Lee Dunning, and Chavez all still fighting for a win. So let's see if they can lock themselves in here tonight. Let's start stage 3.
Stage 3 on the cards. 33 laps to go. Green flag is back in the air, and racing action resumes once again. TJ Ivey aggressively cutting off the inside from Jamie Lee Dunning as well as Frank Chavez. Evan Stewart trying to power through, but bobbles slightly on the cold rubber. And already, Jonathan Dominics breaking away with a 0.4 of a second advantage up front, and everyone is fanning out behind.
Once again, the Hornet's Nest makes an appearance for 2x2x2x2 as the battle for second place is really shaping up. It's Jamie Lee Dunning on the inside of Ivey. Ivey gets a little deep into the corner. The exit's not going to be good for him. They're going to stay side by side through the turn 4 short chute. And Ivey might just be able to pull ahead down the main straight, but no. Jamie Lee Dunning still has that left rear quarter panel.
Continuing to pull clear. Ivey gets around Jamie Lee Dunning. They are still 2 wide elsewhere in the pack as Terrence Murphy picks off Frank Chavez. Robert Tester looking for the inside of Brian Matthews, and been moving behind, but looking like for the most part, driver still keeping things orderly for the time being at least. And how about Chris Mackey? Up 24 positions. He's trying to make it 25, and he's fighting for a top 5 with Blake Hewlett.
Yeah, he's just gonna send a phantom send, a bit of a fake out, and it works. Hewlett too deep on the brakes, gets into the outside wall, and the dummy move from Chris Mackey works beautifully. It's a strategy you see a lot more happen around road tracks, but the 10 brings that theory to oval racing and gets that position, moving himself up into 5th. As now Tester down the inside of Frank Chavez. Akari King Wright also looking to get interested on that battle, and Tester sends it in and will clear himself by a lot by the time we get to the end of turn 1.
30 laps to go this next time by at the line. And the aggression that we have seen all night long is going to continue to rise as we get closer and closer towards the halfway, or towards the end of this race, right? So these guys are fighting this way for just the stage points. Who knows how it's going to go by the end. Samuel Longworth just losing out a ton of spots, dropping all the way back to 17 as he was real slow through 3.
Yeah, Guerrero able to get past him. Thaddeus Field Jr. as well. They're actually going to do a bit of bump drafting down the main straight. Willie Smith just behind, also looking to get interested. That 75, remember, he locked himself into the playoffs at Darlington, so he does probably not care at all that he's running back in, I think it was 26 or so position. He's got himself into the playoffs. He does not have to worry about where he finishes these races, as Tester looking for a move onto Blake Hewlett, opting to not send it that time. Probably now focusing on an exit out of 3, focusing on an exit out of 4, but nope, he's going to send it down the inside of 4, and he actually might just clear himself, as once again we go to behind. Frank Chavez really struggling here, Nolan.
TJ Ivy as well, closing in on Jonathan Dominics, and almost went for the lead there in turn 1, decides against it. That's going to cost him a little bit of time, but he is still very much in the fight here with that AC Delco Camaro. Dominics with that Camry continuing to hold the race lead, and the gap comes back down to within 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, but don't forget Evan Stewart, stage 1 winner, stage 2 winner, current holder of the fastest lap, led the most laps here tonight. He is hot on the trail of Douglas Ivy, and I think that Stewart might be able to put the attack on Ivy before Ivy can get that attack going on Dominics, and here he goes, 37. Maybe peeking for the inside of the 88. No, can opt out of it into turn 1.
Oh, but got hung up on the curb, and Dominics gets a little bit loose out of 1 while Ivy got tight. And that lets Evan Stewart look back down the inside of TJ Ivy for the second place spot. Not able to get there, though. This time, Ivy a little bit closer to Dominics as they hit the back straightaway, but he's not close enough still to have a proper look into turn 3. Caution!
And caution.
And so ends our longest green flag run of the night. Freels around, and I believe that is Aaron Longworth just up the road.
Yeah, so our longest green flag run of the night, I believe it was 6 laps. We made it, so congratulations to the drivers for making an entire 6 laps without bringing out the caution flag.
I think he had help.
As in 98 self spins.
I don't know. I think Guerrero got into him a little bit. Man, that was a close
That's a
call
big one
there from Willie Smith. And then where does Aaron Longworth get caught up in this? There he is, that 7 car at the back of the shot. Oh, just a bad decision. Speared him back across the racetrack, and Longworth slides down. Just keeps it off the inside wall.
Yeah, that thing is already beat up enough. Doesn't want to put any more damage into that 42 Celsius machine. We're going to ride on board now with Aaron Longworth, seeing how he avoided this and just got a little bit loose, trying to, make his way out of the wreck.
So there you see the smoke and the car already slowing. The caution flag is out. Kind of looked like he locked the rears a little bit and just managed to keep it off the inside wall. And then this was on board with Willie Smith. Take a look at what Smith saw here. There's
Oh my.
Just gets around him.
I mean, that's a new underpants look right there, I think.
Oh, yeah. From the air here, and I'm curious if Guerrero got into Friel. I think he may have. Take a look. No, he didn't. You're correct. Guerrero never touched him.
Point Lucas. Yay.
Probably took the air off the back end, but definitely didn't touch him.
Yeah. As this caution allows Jonathan Dominix and TJ Ivy to kind of get their feet settled. They were under heavy pressure from Evan Stewart behind, but now not only does it take away laps for him to catch up and pass the two cars in front of him, but it also allows for the 45 and the 88 to get those tires cooled down once again, see if they can regather themselves, and really bring the fight here to Evan Stewart, who has been a dominating force for so much of this race.
Maroquin gets back onto the lead lap, and once again, we are going to slow things down. Green flag coming out in just a moment. We'll be back with more in a second on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Rev TV brings the world of motorsports into your home with over 100 live race series such as MotoGP, IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, Extreme E, World Superbike, and the newly launched all-electric E1 series. From 2 wheels to 4, from land to sea, your destination is Rev TV.
At Pinnacle Wraps, we proudly offer top-tier liveries that showcase your unique style on the racetrack. Elevate your iRacing experience today with a stunning custom design that truly represents who you are and your passion for racing.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where we are just about to return to racing action once again with 24 laps, or it will be 24 laps still on the cards. And, well, Lucas, to put it mildly, it's been a ride.
A ride it has been, as our longest green flag run just unfortunately came to an end, but we're going to see if we can beat that record. We're looking for 7 laps now to beat that record we just set, and I think we can do it. I have confidence in these guys. It really just comes down to how aggressive are they going to be now that this race is coming to a close with only 25 left to go when they take the green flag here.
Well, the field will come back around into turn numbers 3 and 4. We are running out of cars. We have lost just about a third of the field tonight. Once again, 24 on the boards, and the green flag will be coming out this time by. TJ Ivy gets a good jump. Jonathan Dominix cleared down to the inside. trying to fight off Ivy. And they remain 2x2 while Lucas down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Dominic's still down the inside. He's lost a lot of distance to TJ Ivy, I should say, and he's trying to send it deep into the corner to make up for some of that gap, but all that does is allow Ivy to get a better run and to use that to slingshot himself around the outside. And while all this is happening, look at Evan Stewart sitting there in the background, waiting in the wings for his time to pounce. And Ivy might have just cleared himself. He does.
Oh, no!
Stewart into Dominic.
Oh, no! That's going to be a huge crash up into the outside wall for Jonathan Dominics. Caution's out. He's going to get hit once, twice, three. Still piling in here, guys. Caution's out. What are we doing? And that is a classic case of just getting way too aggressive. Jonathan Dominic spun to the inside, and that car is done. Look at that left rear. How far out of alignment it is from the rest of the car.
That is
he's
zigzagging.
toast. Can't even drive it
he
back.
has to burn it down. Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
TJ Ivy, your new race leader.
And the green flag. We'll have to wait just a little bit longer. Watch this here. Evan Stewart's trying to follow TJ Ivy's draft, and just, there's a car there. You can't do that. Then Dominic slides up. He gets hit by Murphy. That shoves him into the outside wall. That alone would be enough to end his day, but then he's going to get hit hard by the 91, fires back across the racetrack, glances off the 47, then gets hit by Samuel Longworth. You see Maroquin fire into the mix. And you still got cars locking up and going into the outside wall well after the cautions come out.
I mean, that's just kind of the chain reaction effect that you get when a crash happens up at the front of the field like that. As we get into a look at it, not clear, not clear.
Oh, man. It's a harsh hit. And man, Blake Hewlett's 87 car came sliding in. He just got through that.
He actually formula drifts it around the corner to avoid the 45. That was epic.
That is incredible. This is on board with Dominic's. Oh. And boom. And crunch into the back end as well. And now this is the look that Blake Hewlett had.
Whoa.
Oh, he got hit. He had help from behind, and that's part of why that car went around.
A great save. Really, really good save.
Oh, incredible save.
Also had to heavily check up because you saw how much speed Guerrero lost. So he had to check up really heavy, then got hit from behind. Then he had to save the car.
He actually got hit by Ron Milan, the driver that then proceeded to plow in to the back of him. Look at how far sideways that car gets, and he just barely skates around. But Milan, because he hit the back of Hewlett, he wasn't so lucky.
Yeah, Milan just carrying, frankly, too much speed for when the caution flag is already out and flying.
Well, to be fair, I don't think it would have been flying at that point in time, but
okay.
There you see the crash and up into the outside wall, and it's on. And just look at all the cars going piling. Now, these drivers all the way at the back that came into this, like Bernhardt, they don't have that same excuse.
It's a bit different for Longworth, I think, because the car got knocked down into his line.
Yeah.
So it's a bit more understandable for 42, definitely.
Yeah, for Longworth, it's fine. But, you know, for drivers like Bernhardt, you shouldn't be locking it up going into turn one where the caution's been out for several seconds already, I would imagine.
Yeah, yeah. And with all the cautions we're getting here tonight, Nolan, do you consider changing a YouTube channel name to Yellow Flag TV?
No. Nice try, but no. Do you know how long that would take to change all the branding over?
That's true. That's true. And we just launched our a new X and Facebook account too, so you'd have to change that as well.
Do you know how much of a nightmare it is to change an X username? It's a nightmare. It took us so long.
Speaking of that, go follow us over there, Facebook and X, Green Flag TV. Be a hugely appreciated. As I said, they're new accounts, so any buzz surrounding them, any follows, any likes would be a huge appreciation.
And of course, we're live on Twitch now as well for the first time for the Zero Torque Racing League. You can check that out at twitch.tv/Green Flag TV Live or Live 2. In the event that you need to jump over to the second channel as well when we have races that are broadcast alongside each other. The FTRS Over.AI Endurance Series is going to be on the live channel tomorrow as well. So be sure to check that one out to boot. 19 laps to go here, Lucas, as we get set to go Green Flag Racing. Evan Stewart, despite the odds, he still leads.
Yeah, welcome back, Evan Stewart. You joked about it early on in the race, how this could be our first repeat winner, and with 20 to go, Stewart, the dominating force, back into point. This definitely could be the first race where we get a repeat winner. And Chris Mackey up to second place from, I believe, very far back. I'm not too... like I said earlier, my memory's kind of bad. I don't remember where he started, but he is up 20 or so positions, if I'm not mistaken.
Stewart, Mackey, the top two. Murphy, King Wright, Hoagland. Third through fifth with Samuel Longworth closing out the final car inside the top three rows. Just under 25% of this race to go. We are very much into the end game. Stewart will be the one, Lucas, to take us back to green.
And here we go. Let's see if he gets a great start. He does once again. Puts Chris Mackey behind him. Terrence Murphy as well, getting a really nice start. It's the 5 on the inside of the 10. Murphy looks to send it a little bit too deep into the corner on cold tires. And he has to file in behind the 10 as now Ricari King Wright sends it down on the inside of Terrence Murphy. It gets that 16 machine up into third. And oh my gosh, Terrence Murphy really under fire. As now Adam Hoagland as well, looking down the inside of that 5 Grippo's machine.
Adam Hoagland continuing to make tracks here as he's tracking up towards the outside. Murphy catches the wall. And Austin Guerrero still in the fight behind. Trying to see if he can have a look down the inside of Murphy. Fighting for a top 5 position. And Austin Guerrero, can he pick him off? I don't think he will. Murphy's got the draft from cars up the road. And I think Austin Guerrero might be forced to back out here. And he is.
Oh, but Murphy, once again, he's deep into 1. Guerrero sees the opening now into 2, and he does. He sends it down the inside. I don't know if Murphy is really struggling with something right now, or if he's on older tires, but he's falling like a rock. He's got to gather himself, reset his mental, reset his mindset, and see if he can kick himself back into gear and start making up some of these positions again.
Justin,
as Ivy now down the end of the Longworth. Sorry.
Justin Dane clears Samuel Longworth, and here comes TJ Ivy as well. He's going to send it down the inside. Ivy clears up from Longworth. And Day now trying to go for the crossover as he looks high then low, but he can't find an opening. Too wide, deeper in the field. New fast lap of the race, by the way. Reset by Evan Stewart the last few times, and he has just put down another fastest lap of the day.
Yeah, he's out in front, completely clean air, 7/10 to Chris Mackey behind. He is driving like the wind. He is absolutely flying out in front of this 20 or so car field. As now we do have a battle here. There's actually some bump drafting going on. That's Jamie Lee Dunning pushing Ted Gamble completely clear of Brian Matthews. Almost pushes him wide as though Lee Dunning goes in the wall himself.
That's the hasses of bump drafting here. You got to brake eventually, and he braked way too late. Brian Matthews clears from Gamble, and Jamie Lee Dunning slips up the racetrack as well. Willie Smith, who went for a bit of a wild save earlier on today as well, he just barely avoided one of the prior wrecks. He's now looking to the inside of Dunning to try to go for 13th.
Yeah, the 75 on the inside of the 54. Once again, Willie Smith locked himself in at Darlington, but one more position. It does feel good as he moves that machine up into 13th position, as behind Frank Chavez now looking for the move on to Douglas Ivy, 23 on the 33. He's got a bit of aero draft help behind from James Ben Bernhardt. He's going to use that to great effectiveness to get himself through and up into 15th place there.
Single file starting to be the norm further up at the spearhead of this pack. Samuel Longworth once again looking to the inside of Terrence Murphy, but he brakes too early, nearly takes out the back end of the number 5. Murphy gets clear, and Brian Matthews wanted to see if he can go for an over-under coming around through 2.
So now the question in my mind here is, with that caution coming out with 20 to go, or us restarting with 20 to go, if you remember, all the way back to the beginning of this race, these drivers were not able to make it the entire 20-lap stage on one tank of fuel. So either these drivers will have to be tires or fuel saving, or they have to come one more time down pit road for fuel. So there's still a lot of unknown variables left in this race that could really change up the order. So there's still a lot left that has to be unpacked. And with 14 to go now, we are one lap away from hitting our new green flag record here tonight at Indy.
Brian Matthews to the inside of Terrence Murphy and nearly turns himself across the nose. Brian Matthews able to jump clear though, and he slots into 9th. Meanwhile, Samuel Longworth and Ted Gamble, they're going to go double file here now into 3. Gamble tries trying to claw his way back to the field after he also got caught up in that wreck back on lap 1. But just has not been able to get the run that he's needed so far to get into a top 10.
Oh, Longworth a bit slow off the corner. Jamie Lee Dunning finds the opening, and he just might clear himself before they even get into 1, as Samuel Longworth lost a ton of speed off the exit of 4. But no, Longworth breaks super deep into the corner and clears Jamie Lee Dunning by about a car length and a half, as now we're going to cut back to the front of the field. This is Hewlett, I believe, for 15th, and just behind that's Chavez and Levins fighting it out for 16th.
Towards the front, you've still got Austin Guerrero and a slugfest with Adam Hogland, and as well as that, coming down pit road is Chris Mackey. And here we're starting to see a lot of the drivers that haven't come down pit road under this latest run here in stage 3 finally forced to bail out and into the box.
Well, what I'm curious to know is, does he take tires? That's going to be one of the biggest factors. If Chris Mackey takes tires, or sorry, if Evan Stewart takes tires and Chris Mackey doesn't, that is enough of a gap or a change of time of the pit stop to give Chris Mackey the lead and give him the track position. So I'm really curious if Mackey took tires there.
Assuming, of course, that these drivers that are currently out here don't need to come back down pit road another time yet. Willie Smith gets around Brian Matthews. No harm, no foul. Further behind, Gamble, Murphy, Dunning, Blevins, Hewlett still in a 5-way fight for 5th, and here comes Terrence Murphy to pit road, and that'll make it down to 4. By the way, race leader Evan Stewart also into pit road, and Corey King Wright takes the lead.
Yeah, so I think Stewart came down to pit road to avoid the undercut from Mackey. Fresh tires do offer a lot more pace, and Stewart did not want to lose the race due to a one lap or due to an undercut from the guy in second place. So very quickly makes the decision to come in the very next lap, and it's going to be interesting to see where those two where they come out in relation to each other, because that is the net lead battle. That is the two cars that we're going to be keeping our eye on. And we can see Chris Mackey comes out in 20th, and Evan Stewart comes out, I believe, behind that. As I wait for the leaderboard to cycle around. No, he comes out in 19th, I believe. So still very close.
Corey King Wright, the next one into the box. While Tester and Ivy both trying to pressure Guerrero. They're going to duck around Samuel Longworth, who just came down pit road this last time by. And here's the blue flags. Coming to 9 laps to go, this time by at the line. Now a caution now could throw up a pretty massive upset, especially with drivers like Longworth, who would be stuck a lap down.
Yeah, and the drivers that have already pit are put in an interesting position. Of course, Terrence Murphy, Corey King Wright, Chris Mackey, and Evan Stewart being those guys. It'll really allow for some really interesting order mix-up, as you said. And now, looking at the timing tower, Chris Mackey is actually in front of Evan Stewart. He was able to jump him in the pits, was able to get that undercut strategy complete. So even though Chris Mackey's not leading the race, assuming these guys in the top 15 can't make it to the end, which is my assumption, Chris Mackey's their net leader.
Here we go, Robert Tester looking for the move down into turn number 3 this time by. And just like that, Tester breaks through and he will lead for the first time tonight. And could we see Robert Tester potentially walk out of here as the first repeat winner of the season? TJ Ivy, the next one up the road, who would have to overtake Austin Guerrero.
Yeah, as we thought Evan Stewart would be our first repeat winner, as he's been dominating so much of this race. But if Tester can make it to the end of the race here, he has been saving his fuel and able to go the entire 20 laps on just one tank of fuel. He could be that repeat winner. Of course, think back all the way to week 1 when he won at Daytona. That's what locked him in, but he could win a second time here. As TJ Ivy now, another person locked into the playoffs, gets past the 24 of Guerrero, as now we move back into the pack.
This time, Stephen Blevins and Ted Gambill going to square up as they try to go 2 by, coming around through turn numbers 3 and 4. 8 laps to go. And Stephen Blevins trying to make the run here down that straightaway, but Blake Hewlett, who just went for a wild slide to avoid this latest crash of the night, he is trying to also advance. He sits back in 10th.
The battle, though, that I am watching is Chris Mackey versus Evan Stewart. Although right now it is the battle for 15th, I've said it before, that I believe is the battle for the win right now. And that gap is hovering about 5 to 6 tenths. And Evan Stewart has been closing that gap lap by lap. As remember, he has 1 lap fresher tires than Chris Mackey is. Whoa! Someone's in the wall.
They're able to keep things green as Ted Gambill, Stephen Blevins, Blake Hewlett scrapping it out. 6 laps to go here. And Stephen Blevins pulls clear of the 47 into turn 1. Easy dive. And now here comes Hewlett trying to repay the favor.
And he gets it done as Ted Gambill not only goes deep into the corner, but also gets a little bit loose on the exit at 2 there. So Hewlett now moves himself up in 9th position. Gamble still able to hold on to the top 10 as now Jamie Lee Dunning looking for the inside of Willie Smith. This is for 6th position. It's the 6th battling the 7th, and they make contact, Nolan.
Not the first time Jamie Lee Dunning has pushed wide into a driver tonight. And Willie Smith was really slow down the back straight there. I think this 75 car is saving fuel. He might not be safe. Just look at how slow he is down the straightaway.
As Evan Stewart, I'm looking at the leaderboard, has got the pass onto Chris Mackey. That is a big, big move for the 37 car, because now that puts him right back into the net lead as whoa.
And Wayne Graves has tanked the wall, and he will be forced to come to pit road. Take a quick look at what happened here to Wayne Graves. This did not bring out a caution flag. It happened in turn 3. Caught the wall, slid around, and he's going to overcorrect and go hard into the outside wall, but no caution because there's nobody around him.
That is a big, big hit. I mean, that caught me off guard. That legitimately caught me off guard with how quick that contact was.
Oh, hold on, look out! Brian Matthews into the infield grass there. Cut way too much of turn 1, got loose. Austin Guerrero back to the inside of the battle for 3rd.
And now with 4 laps to go, it's all kicking off here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway as Brian Matthews almost loses that final podium position by an unforced error, putting his car into the grass. And now Samuel Longworth, it's a lap car, I believe, sorry. It is Samuel Longworth, but he is a lap down on Austin Guerrero. So that is not a battle that we have to follow too much as Tester, once again, holding this lead, but with 2.5 tenths behind, TJ Ivey looking to maybe go for the win here.
3 laps the distance between TJ Ivey and Robert Tester. The big question, do they have the fuel to make it? And Brian Matthews, sorry, that's Justin Day that's just picked up 4th. Fight with Austin Guerrero, Jamie Lee Dunning, and more. You've also got Stephen Blevins and Blake Hewlett reeling in a hotly contested battle for the 4th place spot.
Yeah, I mean, hotly contested, you frickin' said it, as it's Justin Day, Jamie Lee Dunning, Austin Guerrero, Stephen Blevins, all fighting for this spot. And I believe the car behind as well, Hewlett as well in this battle. And this is where you have to play the game of risk versus reward. If I send a move on the guy in front of me, is it worth the risk of getting sent from the guy behind as Ivy, looking for the inside of Tester, chooses to not send it on that occasion. Cut back to the battle of 4th, and Guerrero has fallen all the way to 8th. Lost a lot of positions there.
Yeah, he's saving fuel, not safe to the end of this one. TJ Ivey tried to have a run on Tester. Tester blocked it down the pit straight, and that's what forces TJ Ivey to remain behind for the time being. Final lap coming up this time by, and this one looks like we'll finally get to the end of this race without another caution.
Well, I wouldn't jinx it, Nolan. You know commentators curse, and you know I got really mad at Derek one time for jinxing it. So we were hoping there's no cautions, because I would love to see some good racing for these last 2 to go here, because look at this battle between the 88 and the 22. The double 2 versus the double 8 is going to be one more lap to see if Ivy can get around Tester. Remember, they're already both in the playoffs, but sometimes a win is just that much sweeter.
Robert Tester out of turn number 2. He's loose! He's loose and he's into the wall! And here comes TJ Ivey! Ivey down to the inside. He's going to pick up the race lead. And that might be game over as Robert Tester got sideways out of turn 2. We lost the back end, overcorrected, went into the wall. TJ Ivey's just got to make it to turn number 4, then he's going to be smooth sailing. Ivey out of 4, and TJ Ivey comes home and becomes the first repeat winner of Season 2 of the Zero Torque Racing League. And meanwhile,
and
3
Gets it
wide.
done. Wow.
3 wide for 4th. Justin Day able to pick it off at the stripe. Check that. Jamie Lee Dunning held on.
And wow, TJ Ivy on the last lap, able to take advantage of a mistake from Robert Tester. And so many times on Green Flag TV have I seen a mistake on the last lap be the cause of a loss of a win. I saw it happen on SRA to Michael Gudger, and now unfortunately here in ZTRL to Robert Tester. But all hats off to TJ Ivy right here. And Nolan, I'm just surprised they made it to the end of the race on fuel.
Tester had this one all in the bag. He got too close to the wall, though, and side-slapped the wall, and Ivy said, thank you very much. And he's going to take the walk-off win after that one here this afternoon.
Now we get to see him burn it down here on the pit road. Of course, he's going to bring it all the way to that last remaining line of bricks. There it is. He's going to give that line of bricks a good bit of rubber, as we can listen to that V8 roaring now.
That is blasphemy in the real world. You are not allowed to do that. Of course, it's considered a cardinal sin of winning in Indianapolis, and I think the racing gods have punished him, rightfully so, by making him run out of fuel immediately after he did it.
Yes, yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, boy. Well, a intense race here tonight, and I'm sure a lot to be discussed in the stewards room after this one, as we'll take a rundown of your official post-race results here tonight. TJ Ivy takes home the win after a heartbreak for Robert Tester, finding the outside wall on the final lap of the race. Brian Matthews comes home 3rd, Jamie Lee Dunning back in 4th, and Justin Day 5th, Stephen Blevins in 6th, Blake Hewlett, Austin Guerrero, Willie Smith, and Tay Gambill round out the top 10.
And then finishing here tonight in 11th is going to be Frank Chavez, followed by Douglas Ivy, Evan Stewart, Chris Mackey, Adam Hogland, Akari King Wright, Jamin Bernhardt, Samuel Longworth, Terrence Murphy, and Ron Malam wrap out your top 20.
And back through the rest of the field, it's going to be Aaron Longworth 1 lap down, along with Thaddeus Real Jr., Chris Gaxel, Wayne Graves finishes 6th down. We're into drivers now that failed to finish this race, with Daniel Emilio Maroquin, Jonathan Dominics, Ethan Farless, Dave Shively, Keenan Kimber, Daniel Molinari, Joshua Siegfried, Jason Steptoe, and Eric Morton closing out the pack. Overall, a pretty intense drive from start to finish here this afternoon. Let's get a chit-chat in here with the drivers that finished this race. Numbers 1, 2, and 3 here, and we'll look to kick things first and foremost off with TJ Ivy, the driver that comes home number 1. And TJ, talk us through your race here tonight, because, boy, this was a brutal race. But TJ, you're able to come home as the first repeat winner of the season. It's got to feel good. TJ, do we got you?
Yeah, you got me now?
Yeah, we got you.
All right.
Well, talk us through this one, because you're the first repeat winner after a brutal race.
Yeah, it was wild. My strategy kind of got messed up with all those weird cautions, and then I heated up the rears a little too much, and that's when you guys probably saw me spin through the inside. I off-cycle pitted at the end of stage 2 just to kind of, had to get back up front. And then same thing, I had just enough gas. I had 1/10 of a gallon of gas coming to the burnouts that I was doing. So it was a good race. Robbie, the air tightness, I'm sure you guys saw. But I was hoping I gave him enough room to get a run, and then he kind of got squirrely there coming out of 2 and opened it up for me. So
overall, a pretty wild race that we had here this afternoon. Kind of talk us through. I mean, what do you go through with this one, right? Because obviously you were already locked into the playoffs, but you got yourself some extra playoff points now. Do you reckon that this is something that you can take into future races from here?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking to win the race. I knew it was going to come down to a fuel mileage thing. You saw those guys pitting there with 5 to go. So, but I guess that's the good thing about this league is, we just don't give everybody 8 sets of tires and 100% gas and, say go race, like there has to be some strategy to it as well, which came into play there at the end. So, you guys will see that, I guess, the rest of the year. That'll happen at all the tracks, which I kind of enjoy the strategy piece, because everybody's fast, but, saving gas, saving tires, that some people, don't necessarily focus on that.
Well, looking forward then, obviously, just up the road, it's yet another trip out to the Kansas Speedway. What's going to be your bet here as we swing out back to the Prairie States?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun race track. I like it. I mean, I've done okay in the officials, but that may not translate over to this. I know there's a bunch of fast guys that are looking forward to it as well. It's a fun track, kind of like Michigan. You could run all over. So, yeah, looking forward to that and the next few that are coming up as well to close out this year.
All right, we'll wish you the best of luck then next week in Kansas. Congratulations on taking home #1, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
TJ Ivy comes home #1 here this afternoon, and next up it's going to be the likes of Robert Tester standing by with Lucas Moody, the Daytona winner, with a tough break at the end of the night.
Hey, yeah, welcome up to the booth, Robert Tester, finishing second here tonight, which of course is a good result, but maybe not what you wanted at the end of tonight.
No, that's not what I wanted, but that's what happened. Can't do nothing about it. Congrats to TJ. That was I think our first time, our first multi-winner of the season, right?
Yeah, first time a repeat winner has happened, as Ivy, of course, won at Atlanta 2 weeks ago, and now he wins here again at Indianapolis.
Yeah, congrats to the Ivy team there, everyone there. Yeah, I just gave it away there. I was pushing it, and I was finding FPS stutter all night. I don't know what's going on, but I goosed it. Didn't get any response there for a second with the stutter, and when it comes back, it's just sideways. So that stinks. I made the right fuel call. I just pushed it. I didn't want him to get a draft on the backstretch. Yeah, just lost it. Look, it's racing.
Exactly, it's racing. Things happen. It happens to everybody. It happens to the best of us. So definitely no worries there. And you drove a really good race. Of course, a second place still picks up for you 3 playoff points for that first round of 16. And it also, gets you a lot of points to hold your position as the regular season leader, as you are currently as well. So still a lot of good takeaways from today.
Oh yeah. I just I want to keep winning, but the end goal is to win that regular season championship at the end. That's the goal. I know Roger's going to be upset since we didn't get the win here at his track, but I tried. But we'll get it next time.
Of course, and would you have any people that you would like to shout out or thank before we send you away here?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys, everyone that showed up here, that raced, and everyone that watched, spectated. I want to thank everyone there, just my teammates, so everyone that helped, put this together and keep it going every week. I know there's some ups and downs, but we all get through it. So thank you to everyone that shows up.
Yeah, well, thank you to you as well for taking the time and interviewing with us up here.
Oh yeah, I appreciate the time. Thank you guys.
Of course, yeah, and that was our second place finisher, Robert Tester, and I believe, Nolan, you are sitting by with our third place finisher, Brian Matthews.
The hard charger of the day coming home here. 28 spots gained for you, Brian, so overall a stellar day at the office, coming home the last step on the podium, but boy, that race was a rough one, and you had to dodge wrecks left, right, front, and center. Talk about how you got that 28 car back to a podium.
Oh my gosh, man. Pure luck, I guess, man. Just kind of worked in my favor tonight. Was riding a high from last night. Freaking the league took home second, led the most laps at Dega last night, and just came in here. Didn't think it was going to turn out this well. I freaking tagged the wall in the qualifying, so I started pretty much dead last and just took my time and just took them one at a time and little pit strategy and talking with the teammates there and just worked our way up. I think the saving grace was not listening to my teammates on the last caution and going in and getting fuel in my last set of tires. That's what got me to the end there, and yeah, so I'm happy. I'm still searching for that win, but I'll take third. So.
Well, this is going to improve you massively in the championship standings here. Do you reckon a playoff run is 100% on the cards for you at this point in time in the season?
Man, I want to say yes, but there's so many good drivers here, man. It's hard to say. Unfortunately, I guess fortunate and unfortunately, I will be missing next week at Kansas. It's my wife and I's birthday. We have the same birthday, and so it's Friday, and so yep. So unfortunately, missing the race. So I've got to get that win and get it in, and just consistently top 5 finishes, and maybe make it in points. But yeah, that's my goal. I got to get a win, but if not, at least because it's just stay in the top 5.
And, well, I guess the one we see next is going to be for the marathon at Bristol Motor Speedway for 275 laps in December. What's going to be the game plan then for Tennessee?
Oh, my goodness. Keep it clean. Bristol's a tough one, man. I've struggled there in the past, and I've done well there in the past as well. But as long as we keep the car clean and maybe qualify well and stay out front, and we'll be okay. But it's all about luck of the draw on short tracks for me. Sometimes I have good days, sometimes I have bad days. But yeah, it's just it's gonna be luck of the draw short track racing. You know how it goes.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck then when we go racing once again. Congratulations on taking home third for the Gator Motorsports crew, and we'll hopefully be talking to you again in 2 weeks.
Absolutely, brother. Thanks.
Ryan Matthews comes home third, and, well, Lucas, with that brings this race to a final grueling end. And, man, what a journey that we had here this afternoon.
Yeah, journey and a half.
That was something.
Yeah, a 2-hour race after all is said and done, and 80 laps, 200 miles of Indianapolis Motor Speedway have been completed, with TJ Ivey coming out on top to be your first repeat winner of the season. And looking forward to the rest of the season, we have Kansas, Bristol, Charlotte, Watkins to close out the rest of 2025, then out on Talladega to close out the rest of the regular season. And then Iowa, Nashville will be the first 2 races of the round of 16.
Well, plenty of action still yet to come here on Green Flag TV when racing action kicks back off. When we go racing next time up, it's going to be tomorrow afternoon, as they will be back for more with the FTR Events Trophy.ai Endurance Series. And following that, it is the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series for their final race of the season at the Phoenix Raceway. The SRA Super Speedway Blitz will be out at the Echo Park Speedway on Saturday night. And then on Sunday, it's the show we're all waiting for. The 8th running of the Paper Recycling Systems Indianapolis 500. Mid-Atlantic Race Series continues as always on Tuesday, and then we're back for more on Friday night with Zero Torque Racing League at Kansas. If you want to find out more about who we are and what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. Boy, this race was an absolute slugfest. It was brutal. It was bashing in Kansas Speedway. Who knows? It could go better. Could be no different than what we saw today. One thing's for sure, the championship continuing to pick on up, and we will be seeing you all once again when we go racing 7 to 8 tonight at Kansas. We'll see you there.